me loose. Go on patrol. Money in my pocket and I'm all up in the zone line.
Hey guys, Legendary Ghidorah here today. I talked about this with my friends on Discord and we actually got this, idea from them. So they get all the credit for this video. I simply just put it together here. So today we're going to be talking about Monster X versus the Shinobi Alliance here. And we'll be keeping him in tier, which means we won't go with the outrageous scaling that is Space Godzilla. So we're going to keep him around multi-continental due to the fact that this guy came in and literally leveled basically all of Paris with just one strike here. We will also be using the IDW comics and keeping that scaling in T here. So we're going to be under the presumption that Monster X takes the place of Madara Uchiha in the franchise. You know, the GOAT of the Uchiha clan. No, that's not Itachi or Sasuke. That is Madara all the way, alright? So you guys are going to take that. So we're going to keep him around the continental to multi-continental level stage here. So we're going to be under the presumption that instead of Madara, influencing Obito, we have Monster X influencing Obito instead, making Obito the fighter he is in the Naruto franchise. And instead of Obito using Madara's name, he would actually use his here, form the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki would basically be on the purpose of collecting, basically making the Shinobi stronger for Monster X to absorb the chakra or the energy for him to feed, and that he can get stronger and then put Earth under the Exilian Empire's control here. So, to give you guys a bit of a scale here, Monster X will be around the multi-continental stage, which means he would basically be somewhat on the same level, if not slightly higher than Monster vs. King Ghidorah. We will be reducing him to human size, basically the same size as Madara, so that it's not literally a one-stop and shop deal here. He just steps on everybody and goes home here, and it's just not one-sided. But his Kaiser Ghidorah form will be the size of the QB, or 10 times bigger, at least not as big as the 10 tails, but probably like 2 or 3 inches smaller than the 10 tails here. He's easily, the strongest monster in his verse, even stronger or at least slightly stronger than Godzilla. He's been able to fight against Godzilla, the one who raged across time. Crush Kumanga has actually been able to fight evenly with Godzilla from the Final Wars movie. And this Godzilla was actually able to defeat Rodan, Anguirus, and King Caesar in a 3 versus 1 match. Monster X also is a master at hand-to-hand combat here, again, which puts him really high in the verse in terms of hand-to-hand combat, which is, again, why he fits in Naruto. It's possible he's better than King Caesar due to the fact that King Caesar knows multiple forms of martial artists and is actually a great martial artist with it. But the fact that Monster X was able to hang with the Godzilla who just beat King Caesar like it was nothing, definitely makes it, pretty equal here. Pretty equal in terms of hand-to-hand skill here. I would, again, put him at the same level as Madara when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. Albeit, I could say Madara is more skilled, while Monster X is just more devastating in hand-to-hand combat. Monster X is also durable enough to take the atomic breath to the face here. Has actually taken multiple blasts from the atomic breath, even taking his own energy blast, exploding from a beam clash with Godzilla here. These blasts being able to hurt Godzilla, who's been able to withstand the might of nukes and megaton nukes as well. Has been able to withstand continental busting attacks here. And if we use the monstrous scaling here, he's taking the permanent extinction, which is again a continental feat. Also the attacks from Jinjin Mushi, the giant beetle, or the Muto Prime here, again, is a multi-quake feat here. He's able to use energy absorption, his gravity beams as usual in both forms here. So the first thing is we have to deal with his entrance here. Now we're going to say this happens in the original. Gaara Inonoki stop his meteor attack when he comes down with very little interference. I would say the meteor probably explodes on impact, but again, this means Gaara and Inoki are able to stop it. You might say Inoki is badly injured, but with healers on the field, Inoki will be restored just fine. But now we have to get into the fact that Monster X is really going to tear through the Shinobi Alliance much more devastating than Madara is. Madara was petty. Meanwhile, Monster X is literally sadistic and more calculating and cold. All right. Now, this is pretty much going to go quick, and we have to get into the five Kage some fight here. I mean, there's literally no other way here. He's going to decimate everybody, Konoha 11 included here. You might say there could be characters that get his attention, but if Tamari does her little wind scythe jutsu on Monster X, it's not even going to phase him. It's not getting his attention during this fight here. Now, let's get into the real fun stuff, the five Kage fight here. Now, you have Inoki, Tsunade, Gaara, Mei, and Raikage A, the fourth Raikage. So, these guys here are, again, not really much to Monster X at all here. I think what's going to get his attention, at least from them, is one, A's lightning style, combined with Inoki's light boulder weight jutsu. And Mei had a knack for ranting during battle, so this might also be their downfall because of Mei's mouth. Now, I'm not saying Mei isn't powerful. She's definitely a powerful shinobi. She's a Kage level being for a reason. I mean, she became a Kage for a reason, and I do believe she would be a Kage level being. I mean, she's able to use her water style to push around Madara in his basic Susanoo, which can tank a Jubi blast, casually, and survive Jubi level attacks. So again, Mei's not a joke here. But the thing is here, he's gonna tear through the Shinobi Alliance, like I said earlier, like a hot knife going through butter. But I think A combined with Inoki's lightweight boulder jutsu is pretty much what's going to make Monster X go for absorption pretty quickly. Now, I would put Monster X at light speed or at least slightly slower than Raikage because I want to give Raikage his credit here. So we're going to say he's slightly slower than Raikage, but he is no slouch when it comes to that combat speed. I do believe with A using lightning style, if A uses a, lightning release or a lightning cloak or a lariat, Monster X is eating that chakra, considering he does have energy siphoning, or if you want to call it vampirism, energy vampirism, we can call it that as well here. So A is literally feeding him through the fight here. And again, like I said earlier, Mei had a bad knack during the fight for opening her mouth here. We're keeping, that in-character statement here, or them being in character here. Like, it's 5-1. What are you going to do here? We're Kages. Don't underestimate us. We're like, the most powerful shinobis. Yada yada yada. That means Monster X is gonna start siphoning. He's gonna literally look at Mei with a sadistic smile, and she might be the first one to be siphoned. Monster X would definitely be able to sense the energy levels of these beings, but if they're higher than the Shinobi Alliance, then they're getting absorbed here. Does he get their abilities? No. That's overkill. Because you would have a Monster X with Tsunade's level of strength on top of his, Raikage's strength and speed, Gaara sand manipulation, Mei's water style, and Inoki's molecular manipulation. Now, him absorbing all that chakra level definitely means his stats are boosted and pumped up here. He pretty much should go through them pretty easily. Now, if we say the story goes the same, we will have Guy and his Hirudora, and he would be fighting against the other members of the Alliance here. Now, the Kage. We have to get into the 4 past Hokages when they arrive here, because Monster X would be literally destroying the Shinobi Alliance here. I do think that he would absorb Neji and Rock Lee's chakra, considering Rock Lee had 6 gates, and this would make him an intention bringer. Plus, Rock Lee did do that kick that split Madara in half, and Neji would be one of the stronger members of the Konoha 11. So I do think those two would get absorbed or, get their chakras, drained out of them. So now we have the four Hokage arriving on the battlefield. And again, if Monster X is sensing, still has his energy sense, I do believe this is a bigger problem for the Hokages here. Now, let's say they trap him in that Crimson Barrier with with no one in there. That way he can't siphon on chakra. We'll say they come to this battle more prepared here. They get information from Shikamaru that this guy has been siphoning off chakra, and we see, the results of it. We see an unconscious 5 Kage, an unconscious Neji and Rock Lee here. We see people who are just unconscious in general. Now, Minato, it's questionable whether he could do anything here. I mean, he doesn't really have the AP status to really harm someone like Monster X, especially if, he's not getting through his armor. Maybe you could argue for his KCM 1 state here. Now, Tobirama is definitely a problem here. I do believe Tobirama is a credible threat here, especially with his flying Raijin. But I really think I want to talk about Hiruzen first before we get into Tobirama here. Tobirama would be weaker than Hiruzen. And I do think Hiruzen, again, having his chakra nature or whatever, him being able to use all the elements here, him having information beforehand not to hit X with any electrical based abilities, meaning Hiruzen would be pelting him with other elements, and then I do believe a Beam Clash would ensue with Hiruzen, using the Shadow Clone Jutsu and using all other elements other than electricity to basically provide a Beam Clash with Monster X, causing a massive explosion that would probably destroy the Crimson Barrier, basically rendering the other Kage rendering that barrier invalid. There's also the fact that Monster X might just be able to punch through the barrier like it's nothing here. Now, this is probably where the rest of the Shinobi Alliance would get nervous. I do believe Naruto would attempt a blitz like he did with Madara, only to actually be snatched up and have some of his chakra absorbed here. So now you have, the 5 Kage's chakra, some of the other Shinobi's chakra, the ones who were the strongest on that battlefield. And then you have KCM 1 Naruto getting his chakra absorbed here. Now let's talk about Tobirama. Again, Tobirama is a main factor in, this fight in general. I don't think Monster X would expect 2 Jubi to literally teleport blitz him. This will probably be the first time, he actually gets hit with credible, maybe some credible damage during this fight. Again, if we say that he takes the place of, Madara and Jubito during this fight here, he's going to be getting hit a lot by Tobirama's flying Raijin, and I think that's going to get his attention. If they make Monster X actually get serious during this entire fight here, they're in a lot of trouble. Like, they're in deep trouble. No matter what they do, a serious Monster X is not something they want here. He's not. If he turns into Kaiser Ghidorah, they're done. If he gets serious in his base state, he's done. Now, one of the worst things is when Naruto and Minato actually give their chakra to Shinobi Alliance here. But that's just a bad idea. And you have Tobirama, bombarding him with paper bombs. I do think Tobirama is probably the first Kage to go. One of the first 4 Hokages to go. And it will probably be on some of the lines of, Monster X gets sick of the flying Raijin and pretty much aims a full powered gravity beam at Tobirama just to get rid of him. Or maybe he siphons off Tobirama's chakra so much that it literally just deletes Tobirama from the battlefield. He goes back to the afterlife just having, after all that chakra just sucked out of him. No homo. Now we have the GOAT, Hashirama here. Hashirama is definitely a threat here, especially with his gates of submission here. But if Jubito was barely affected here, and if Madara was to become alive and was able to get out of him, yeah, I doubt that would happen. I do think Hashirama would make him turn into Kaiser Ghidorah at least the first time due to the 1,000 hands Buddha statue. I mean, Jesus. The statue itself would probably still dwarf Kaiser Ghidorah. But let's say if he doesn't turn into Kaiser Ghidorah, I do believe that it would definitely get X's attention. I think it would definitely rough him up, especially the sheer amount of beating he'd be taking it just from the hits alone. I mean, this did cripple and crush the perfect Susanoo off of Kurama and basically made him available for Hashirama to put him in a submissive hold, and Gigi went on to basically beat Madara here. And let's not forget the Wood Dragon as well here, the Wood Golem. Monster X versus the Wood Golem would probably be an insane fight itself here, with him and Hashirama trading dialogue. Like, why are you here? Like, look, I'm just here to conquer another planet. This is really nothing new to me. You, however, seem to be very interesting. So this will probably end up with Hashirama getting his chakra absorbed, as well as I do believe Monster X would be more paying attention to the likes of Naruto, in this case CM1 form. But if Hashirama, Tobirama, Minato, and Hiruzen arrive on the battlefield, they become snacks. Like, I don't see Monster X playing around. If they hit him with the gates of submission in that paper bomb technique, yeah, he's not playing around anymore during this fight here. Summoning jutsus aren't really prevalent during this fight here. I don't think summoning jutsus would be too much of a problem for him at all. If, Sasuke summons Aoda, Naruto summons Gamma Kiki, and Sakura summons Katsuya, he probably would let them summon him, especially Sakura, considering Sakura would be useful in healing the other shinobi, and once he sees that their chakra is being restored, he would actually just let it continue. Now you have to admit here, Killer B is a threat. I'm not gonna lie here. Killer B and Naruto are definitely still threats here. I think once they hit him with the gates of submission, Tobirama does the paper bombs here, then they get a serious Monster X. Then you get the fact that he could hold the 10 tails. I do believe Hashirama could hold Kaiser Ghidorah if it comes down to that. But you have the fact that you have Killer B. He could use Gyuki and be the first tailed beast to actually just pop out and get serious. So this means that you have a Monster X who's actually getting stronger by the amount of chakra he's absorbing versus Gyuki. I think that would be pretty impressive here. Then you have all the rest of the QB being summoned in this fight here. Now, let's be real here. If he wants the QB and the QB pop out, this means that this becomes a much more desperate fight for the Alliance. Because now they have to keep the QB safe. But let's say everything goes the way it does here. Except Gaara probably would trap Monster X in a sand coffin, considering the sand of Shikaku's sand bullet would not be able to pierce him. Now, I do think Monster X will probably let the QB hit him just to gauge their strength here. And again, if your opponent does that, you're pretty much in a lot, and I mean a lot, of trouble here. But I do believe that we would see a beam clash between Kaiser Ghidorah and the Jubi. When they all combine their Jubi blast into one, I do believe Monster X would turn to his Kaiser Ghidorah state in response, and then a gravity beam ensues here. Now, during this stage in time, I would believe he would be equal to the QB in his Kaiser Ghidorah state here. This means that, he would basically be blasting them with an equivalent force here. Like, all three gravity beams will be the equivalent force here. And this explosion will be so massive that it knocks back the QB and the Alliance with, Kaiser just barely hanging on due to his sheer size and probably his weight. I do believe he will probably weigh more than, the QB. And if the QB are down during this time, he would take his opportunity to absorb all of them, despite it. He would really just absorb all the QB. He would absorb their chakra levels. The QB would be basically useless there because he has all their chakra levels, all 8 QB. Now you might say, wait, why not Kurama? I do believe Naruto turning off the Kurama avatar form would be a safe way to keep Kurama safe, because if he gets Kurama's chakra, then he already has 8 Biju's chakra here. Not much of a difference. He's basically going to want the 9 tails just to feel completed, alright? So, even if, Naruto keeps Kurama away, there's also still the fact he could absorb Minato's Kurama avatar out of him as well, considering Minato still had it. Now, if everything goes the same here, he has all the Biju. He does absorb Naruto, goes to kill Naruto and Sasuke off. Then you have 8 Gates Guy. The 8 Gates exposes your chakra. This means, Monster X would actually fight Guy physically on purpose. Let's say if he, kills Naruto, kills Sasuke, boom, drops it back to Monster X, and now he's fighting 8 Gates Guy. This means the 8 Gates exposing your chakra levels. This is going to be bad. And it's bad for Guy here. I actually see that Monster X will be, being able to fight against Guy in hand-to-hand combat. And this fight would actually be pretty sick and insane when I think about it. Like, really. You got Monster X taking on 8 Gates Guy in a whole fight here. The levels that Monster X just climbed by absorbing all the chakra from everyone, including the Biju, against the 8 Gates. But like I said earlier, the gates actually expose the person's chakra. This means when we get to excuse me, gotta take a sip real quick. This means when we actually get to the 8 Gates part and we get to the Night Moth part. Sorry, not the Night Moth. I don't know why I keep calling it. The Night Moth or the Night Guy. This means Monster X is probably going to take this fight a lot more seriously and get Guy's chakra. I actually see him letting Guy go forward with the Night Moth. Alright? You might say, isn't that a suicidal thing? Couldn't Guy probably tear him in half with the Night Moth? It's very possible. Very, very possible. Not letting it out the realm of possibility here. But Monster X, being an intelligent fighter still, will probably loop around the Might Guy. Like, soon as Guy throws that kick, he moves to the side of Guy, literally puts him in a full Nelson, and siphons off that chakra. So now you have Monster X added on with 8 Gates Guy's chakra. Now you could say, does he kill Guy? Probably. If the 8 Gates don't kill him, he's probably going to kill him himself. I mean, we've seen what the Night Guy's power can do here. And you're probably like, yeah, if this guy recovers, I don't want him being a threat to the Empire anytime soon. So he might kill him. But let's say Naruto saves him, right? We got Sage of 6 past Naruto and Sasuke versus pretty much the most overpowered Monster X we've ever seen here. Naruto being back is a problem. Sasuke being back is a problem. Alright? This guy has just absorbed half the Shinobi alliances, including Naruto's Nine Tails chakra when he gave it to him. He has the Biju's chakra, the 5 Kage's chakra, and now he has 8 Gates Guy. The 4 Hokage's chakra, or at least here, the Senju Boy's chakra. Then you have the fact that he already absorbed the rest of Naruto's when he was KCM2, Minato's KCM2, and yeah. Naruto and Sasuke are not doing much here. Yeah, their best bet is to basically fight X off until he gets bored. That they'll basically have to fuse just to try something new here. That would be their best bet, just to fuse here during the fight here. And then we will see Kaiser Ghidorah versus a Kurama avatar wrapped in a Susanoo. Now this might be the changing point. I'll let you guys decide that in the comment section down below whether or not this is the changing point here. But simply put, they don't win it. I really don't. I mean, these guys can gather energy, apply energy, and they're just going to keep feeding Monster X and get demolished in return. So yeah, long story short here, Monster X pretty much bullies the Shinobi Alliance here. It's not really hard to say it, and he pretty much takes it. But let me know what you guys think. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share with your friends.